Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Flight Podcast. My name is Jacob Shanker.
And I'm Andrew Thomas.
Shut up and sit down.
Week 8 is just about wrapped up, and we have another crazy week as usual. I feel like it's every week I'm saying this, but
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook had a monster game. Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs freaking destroyed the Jets, which isn't really that surprising, but they destroyed them. And Tua got his first win of his career. To start off this episode, let's talk about something different though, and what's been going on with the Patriots. So, after seeing Tom Brady leave the Patriots, can we confirm that he's the reason for their success and that it's not their system?
I don't think we can confirm it 100%, but so far, after seeing it, yes. I mean, this is why personally I have him as the GOAT because he was able to lead his team and able to just do as much as he can with what he's given, right? And we see it. We see how Tom Brady's been playing this year. He's been great. I'm going to admit it. I did not expect him to do this well, but he's been great. He's 100% been a top 10 quarterback, right? 18 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, great yardage. He's been doing everything well. And I know the Bucks do have a lot of options on that team, right? They got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, Leonard Fournette now. They're about to get Antonio Brown, Ronald Jones Jr. I mean, it stacks up and stacks up, but he's still doing well. Like considering his age,
It's
I'm
like what, 43,
surprised.
44, 42?
Yeah, I'm surprised by this. And then we look at Cam Newton, who I love Cam Newton, but he has not been good.
No,
He's
he's
had
terrible.
2 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's been rushing well. I will give him that. But he's not MVP Cam Newton anymore.
No, no way.
Like not even close. He's not even a Lamar Jackson. What Lamar Jackson was like last year. We know Lamar Jackson rushed a lot, but he at the same time he also passed a lot and he still passed well.
Yep.
Cam Newton's not doing that. Bill Belichick is not coaching this team as well. I mean, they're 2-4. Uh I mean, I don't know what's going on. I mean, they're 2-4 with Cam Newton being the quarterback, and
It's kind of rough.
it is. It's really rough. And
They don't have a great offense, and Cam Newton, like he's just chucking up interceptions. It's rough. He's thrown for one game. Like he has had one ridiculous game. He had a good game one. He had a great game two. Ever since then, it's been really bad. Like his rating 74, 51, 40, and then 81 today.
it's
That's kind of depressing,
it's
but
tough.
it's also weird because he fell off so quickly. But it's also for the fact that the Patriots are like he doesn't have many options on the Patriots
Mhm.
offense. That's
I mean,
also a factor.
yeah, that's a big factor about them just I mean, Julian Edelman's he's been injured. I mean, we always know he's always dealing with an injury, but it's been a lot more this year.
Yeah,
James White hasn't been as good. Just a lot of the options, it's really not there, right? The Patriots right now, I mean, I thought that they had a good going into the season. I thought they had a good chance at honestly making the playoffs. But looking at them now, no. Because I thought the reason and the number one reason why I thought they were able to make the playoffs last year is because of that defense. But I was wrong. It was Tom Brady, right? It wasn't Bill Belichick. It wasn't that whole system. It wasn't their defense. Yeah, their defense is doing well, but not as well as last year. And they're not doing well enough to win games, right? So, I mean, all they can really do is just continue this path they're going on. I think they want to maybe try and re-sign Cam, but they got to get more options for him,
yep.
right?
Cam, like even though Cam has been terrible, it's because of the offense, like I said, and
Yeah.
he's still a good quarterback. Like he's also rushing really well. I think if you got even mediocre like good wide receivers, I think he'd be in a much better situation.
He would be. I mean, that's what happens with a lot of players. I mean, they'll go from being one of the best quarterbacks to being terrible the next year because of what they're given with. but that's what it is. And I think the Patriots were just not prepared because they thought Cam Newton was going to come in and be like Tom Brady and
Yep.
be that guy that can just carry their team to the playoffs. But they can't. And we're not going to see that happen this year, unfortunately.
Nope.
But
Maybe they can pull something off, but I don't think so.
no, I don't think so. All right, let's move on to the next topic of the day, which is about Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Oh my God. And I think we're seeing that connection again with Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams as
So good. So
he
good.
Davante Adams had all three of those touchdowns. But
Ridiculous.
what surprises me is he only had 53 yards,
Yeah,
right?
I was surprised about that,
A
but
lot.
it's also for the main fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't throw to him for that many long passes, like as long as it was 15.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of the passes, a lot of these touchdown catches that Davante Adams got was very. It was in the red zone. It was very close to. It was some of them were two of them. I think were at the 1 yard line, right, or one of them. But I mean, they still have that connection, and I mean, it goes to show: are they the best wide receiver quarterback duo that we're seeing?
Possibly, possibly. That's also another tough one. Another one that comes to mind though is DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson for
Mm,
me. That's a really good one. And even at times you can sub out DK Metcalf for Tyler Lockett. Like Tyler Lockett had two absolutely ridiculous games. I think it was three
mhm.
touchdowns. And then that's the thing about Seattle though. When Tyler Lockett has a good night, DK Metcalf does meh or bad. When DK Metcalf does good, Tyler Lockett does bad. That's usually the
I mean,
case.
yeah, we're seeing that dominant offense in Seattle with Russell Wilson having an MVP season. We're seeing a new Megatron coming back,
Yeah,
and Tyler Lockett, who's just been
very good.
great, right?
Whenever they need him, he's there.
Yeah. I mean, to going back to this Packers and Vikings game, this loss was really not the offense. It was just the defense,
Yep.
right? They were, I don't know, they just were not able to stop Dalvin Cook the
Yeah.
entire day.
He was the reason. He was the reason. I still think that he's probably the best pure rushing running back. Like obviously, I think Alvin Kamara is probably the best, but also Alvin Kamara gets a lot of receptions, and that's another reason why he's so good
You're talking about this season so far?
this season so far.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could say that he's unbelievable,
Ridiculous. Like
right? I mean, looking at it, I mean, some other players, yeah, like you said, Alvin Kamara has been great. Zeke, I mean, I feel like Zeke has fallen off a bit,
a little bit, yeah, definitely,
which I'm kind of surprised about because they have a great offensive line,
yeah.
and it doesn't make much sense to me. But
It's weird that they fall. They Zeke fell off pretty quickly, and it's a little weird.
those Cowboys are just
The damn Cowboys,
yikes, yikes, yikes,
them
yikes, yikes. Yikes.
Cowboys, them Cowboys.
That yeah, NFC
Oh
East is going
my.
to be crazy to see who's actually going to get through,
It's gonna be a
right?
mess for a long time.
Yep.
But going not from the NFC East, but to the AFC East. How about the Josh Allen mess, Jacob? Because he
Mm,
started out this season really, really well. Like it was phenomenal. He led. I think it was like they got him to 4-0, I think. And
yeah.
Josh Allen was really good, and he's just been mediocre since.
I mean, yeah, looking at him, the first 4 games, he was great for the Bills. Like we said before, he was a MVP contender
Yep.
at that time,
It
right?
was weird to think that.
It really was.
It was a
He
shocker.
was, yeah, he was passing great. He was rushing great, but
Yeah.
over the past, especially this week and last week. Last week, I was extremely surprised about how he played. They were very close to losing to the Jets. Somehow, I was watching this game. I was like, "There's no way the Jets are going to actually get a win this season."
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Right?
But like it's weird because you look at the box score and he had 300 yards and he rushed for 60 yards. His rating was 90, but that doesn't tell all. You got to look into the actual film and it was like It was extremely weird to see that, like, the Jets, like, they were still terrible, but the Bills had a terrible game too.
Yeah, it just it didn't make sense. He's got to figure out something, especially also today. Again, no touchdowns, one interception, 150 yards. They got lucky. They won today. They
Yeah.
got very lucky, right? I mean, it's it's shocking. I'm not sure. Would you say it's worrying? I mean, we're about halfway into the season, right?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know if it's worrying. Probably a little bit because yeah, like we said earlier, the Patriots have pretty bad offense, and they do have good defense. They have stuff on Gilmore. They just have good defense all around.
Mhm.
But it, if I'm a Bills fan, I am a little worried.
I think I think they will make the playoffs,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
definitely.
Right? But I think for me, I'm taking them out of the Super Bowl contention,
Well, without a doubt, yeah.
right?
Like the way that they're playing, it's a no, no
No,
way.
the only teams out of the AFC that I can see actually going to the championship or even winning it are the Chiefs and the Steelers. Those are the only two teams I think right now. The
Yeah,
Ravens, I could see it, but
possibly, but I'm not sure about that.
it's gonna depend on
Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I mean, going back to Josh Allen, he's got to figure something out.
Yeah, he's got to change up his game or just be first 4 games. Josh Allen.
Yeah, he was at the time he was leading at one point in passing yards, and he's just been
So much worse since.
so much worse, and it's sad to see this.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
little disappointing.
Yeah, to say the least. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is about Lamar Jackson. Now, the Ravens have been, as I mentioned before, for me personally, I really don't want to put them in as contenders anymore, as the Steelers did beat the Ravens 28-24. Now the Steelers are 7-0, which is scary. But besides that, what have been your overall thoughts on Lamar Jackson?
Well, what pops my eye, or what I noticed first, is his 12.6 QBR and his 65 quarterback rating. Um,
Mm,
he threw 2 interceptions. This is definitely his worst game of the season, but we also have to take into the fact that the Steelers probably have. Prob- I'm gonna say right now, I think they have the best defense in the league.
yeah,
Like, and if not, they're definitely top 3, without a doubt.
yeah,
Um, and that's also one of the reasons why the Steelers are 7-0. And Lamar Jackson had a tough time. So, and he also had a 46 completion percentage, which is pitiful.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely not even close to MVP Lamar
No,
Jackson we're seeing. I mean, MVP Lamar Jackson would get at least 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. You would get those rushing touchdowns, all those rushing yards. We just
he's not being. He's still
no.
probably
He's
one of the.
still getting it. No,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. He's
yeah.
still getting it.
He's probably
Just
still probably one of the best. Probably is the best rushing quarterback though. Still, because he's so good.
yeah,
But
right.
but
I
it
mean,
is a little bit. It is a downgrade because he's got 350 rushing yards in the first 8 games and only 2 rushing touchdowns.
yeah, I think right now Kyler Murray has been the best rushing quarterback that we've seen this year,
That's true. That is true. I
right?
forgot about him.
Because I mean, look at this against the Bengals. Lamar Jackson had 3 yards on 2 rushes. The Bengals do not have a good defense.
It's really rough.
They
It's
do
really
not, right? And why do you do that? I mean, obviously they had a good win. They obviously destroyed the Bengals. Still, they got a great dub, but it's not worrying just yet.
no,
I
not yet.
mean,
Not at all yet.
no, they're 5-2. Okay, they the rest of the season. I mean, like I said, they will 100% make the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, I feel like for this may be like a hot take on Lamar Jackson, but how he's playing this year, I think he this is how he's going to play the rest of his career. For however long he's going to play, he's going to be more or less the same as he is this year.
Yeah,
Still a top 10 quarterback,
top 10 without
arguably top 5,
arguably. Yeah,
right? Not a top 10 player anymore, not
no,
top 20, still in that top 50 though, top 40 maybe,
yeah,
but he's cuz that MVP season did so much.
yeah,
It did so much to his body cuz he rushed all the time. He
yeah.
threw the ball and he
That
was
does impact you a lot.
right, he was doing everything. And the thing is that defenses I feel like are a bit more prepared this year.
Yeah,
Because when they faced him last year, they had no idea what to do.
because he's so good.
Because the NFL never saw any any quarterback like him. The last person we saw him was Michael Vick.
Yeah, Michael Vick was still ridiculous.
Exactly. So people didn't expect them to do as well. That's why I think he was doing so well last year and not as well this year. But um, yeah, that's just my hot take about
Yeah,
him.
I don't think I could add much more. I basically agree with you. I think that I definitely agree with you. I think that he probably won't get any better from now, but like you said, with the rushing, that does impact his body. I think that this will be somewhat of what I think he's gonna have to rely more on his throwing more in the future because, like I said, body and he just yeah. I think this is probably the same pace that he'll have over his entire career.
Yeah. I think the problem also is they don't have a lot of offense in general, the
No, they don't.
Ravens. I mean, Marquise Brown has been inconsistent. He was complaining today because he didn't really get many throws. He wasn't
Nope.
getting anything, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he should be annoyed by that. He is the number one wide receiver on that team. Mark
Yeah,
Andrews has been terribly, terribly inconsistent.
extremely. Yeah.
And Mark Ingram has been nowhere. We haven't seen him.
Yep.
He
Been
was
bad.
great last year, and now he's nowhere. And I'm completely surprised by everything that's been
Disappeared.
going on. I mean, I had them at that as winning the Super Bowl because you look at it, you look at how they played last year, you look at all the upgrades they got this year with Calais Campbell, and it's tough. It's tough.
You regretting your decision?
Yes,
First
but I'm
quarterback
not.
for the Chiefs.
But I'm not 100% in on your Chiefs. I
All
will
right.
say that.
I do
'Cause
agree. I think that the Chiefs have a much bigger chance of getting knocked off.
'cause I think right now, looking at it, I think it'll be one of 4 teams: the Packers, Seahawks, Chiefs, or Steelers.
Those are probably my four too,
Mhm.
and the Jets.
Oh, of course, the Jets. You can't forget the Giants if you're gonna say the Jets.
Yeah, I gotta go with my guy Andrew Thomas. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, he's been great. He's been
He's
so good.
so
Definitely not giving up any sacks. We haven't seen Daniel Jones lose the ball at
no,
all.
nope,
Has
nope.
been great.
He's definitely first team All Pro. So good, so good. But yeah, enough of that. Enough of that. Let's. Who's the offensive rookie of the year for you, Jacob?
You know, you may say this, and I know most people may say this as well. They may say the number one overall pick, Joe Burrow. And don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow has been amazing for that Bengals team as they got a dub against the Titans today, which I was kind of surprised about. I don't know how they were able to get that, but Joe Burrow has been playing phenomenal for them. But I have someone that I think has been playing better, and his name is Mr. Justin Herbert of the Chargers. And I mean, oh my God, the comparing if you compare both Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, The only stat that Joe Burrow beats Justin Herbert in is passing yards. And that's mostly because Justin Herbert didn't play week 1.
Mm,
I mean, oh my god. He has the last couple games, weeks that he's had, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. I mean, they lost today, but that was just because of that a great game-winning drive by Drew Lock. So props to my guy. But Justin Herbert again got 3 touchdowns today. I mean, he just does not stop. He's been a monster.
he's really good, really good.
He's been really good, and he's been consistently good. And it's not that I don't think Joe Burrow has been inconsistent. I mean, there have been a couple games. I mean, honestly, no, yeah, I'm gonna go back on that. Looking at it now, Joe Burrow has been inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got a great dub today, but for 2 weeks straight on week 6 and week 5, he had no touchdowns. He had interceptions. That's it. That's not good. It's not acceptable at all.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, my pick, and as long as he doesn't get injured, will be Justin Herbert.
Okay. I'm going with Joe Burrow
Ah,
because one of the reasons because you chose Justin Herbert, and two, I think that Joe Burrow is going to continue to improve over the season. Like, yeah, you said that he has been a little inconsistent. He's been pretty inconsistent, but I think that in the second half of the season, I think that's when he's going to come into LSU Joe Burrow. Well, not as good as LSU Joe Burrow. I think he's going to be
obviously.
good. I think that he needed some time to adapt to different offense. I think that Justin Herbert, with especially with Keenan Allen, who's a phenomenal receiver, and Joe Burrow doesn't really have that many pieces or that many wide receivers to throw to. Like, yeah,
So
he's
how is
got,
he going to do well with
I
his
think.
team? How is
Well,
he
he's
going to
got
do
to
better?
adapt. He's got to adapt.
Okay, but how is he going to do better if you even know that he doesn't have that great pieces? The Chargers, I think they're a very underrated team. I feel like people don't give them credit for the options they have because people forget they got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, now Justin Herbert, the God. I mean, Austin Eckler. I mean, he's injured right now, but Austin Eckler when he's healthy. So
Chargers are good, but also
right,
at the same time they're 1-5, which isn't good. Like they've lost almost every single game has been extremely close. Like
yeah,
all of their
and
games,
it has not been their
the
fault.
largest margin that they lost by was 10.
Yeah,
But I
they're actually 2-5, but because they beat the
that's
Bengals.
true. I actually
Other
thought Herbert's
they beat those Bengals, but I mean, most of the reason that they've been getting these losses is because of the defense. The defense obviously is good, not great. They do have Joey Bosa, Derwin James Jr., but they still need to improve on some areas. But I mean, if we're looking at the rest of the season, right? The Bengals. Let's look at the Bengals right now. They play the Steelers twice. They play the Redskins and the Ravens, all of which are some of the best rushing defenses in the league. They're going to destroy that Cincinnati offensive line. Now let's look at the Chargers. These are the best teams, like the best couple teams that they're playing with defenses. The Raiders, the Bills. They'll play the Raiders twice. The Bills and the Chiefs and the Patriots. But the thing is none of them compare close to the Steelers. None of them, right?
I
So
think
if
you
you
got me on this one. I think I'm gonna have to. You
yes,
completely. You've
yeah,
mugged me off, man. You've mugged me off. I because of the two games against the Steelers, I have to go with Justin Herbert. I ugh,
you
can't
just
believe you just
I
convinced me.
could see it in you. I could see it in your eyes. You just couldn't hold on to Joe Burrow. And I'm not trying to discredit the guy. He's a phenomenal quarterback. I think he's
He's
going to
good.
have a great career. But I think in order for him to have a good career, he's got to leave Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's and unless or Cincinnati's got to get better pieces.
No, leave. They have a terrible system. I think probably the worst system in the entire league.
No,
I mean, it's
one of definitely.
oh, sorry, no, the Jets. The Jets are worse. Then it's the Bengals. But I think if my guy wants to do better, gotta leave. But Justin Herbert, only advice I'll give him: don't turn into Philip Rivers. Well, he'll just throw up interceptions. And by looking at him now, I don't think he's gonna be like anything like just Philip Rivers at all.
Probably no. That probably
He's
definitely not because
no,
he's really good. He's really good.
yeah, he's gonna be fun to watch the rest of the year. That's all for today, everyone.
Feel free to comment down below what your thoughts were on Week 8 and about our topics.
See you guys next time.